Yeah.
before like you have to just do it in front of people. So
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's definitely a really challenging part about being a comedian. So, like, I always give huge props to all the comics that come by and try new things out. Rebecca says, I agree with intuition. She's an amazing musician. If you guys don't know, make sure you give her a follow, give her some love. She's an awesome member of the community. And then Shady said, I sound that intuition remark. Yeah, man, I think a lot of even comedy too is part of just intuition and improv, whatever just happens. We got a question real quick from George. What's up, audience?
So it's actually not a question. It's also putting into the music side.
Yeah.
I was recently...
Put the mic to your mouth real quick.
I was recently making a song with somebody, and I was trying to do it on the spot. And for me, I'm a very write and listen to a beat kind of a person rather than an improv person. I can improv, but my songs tend to come out better when I sit down, listen to a beat, or somebody gives me, like, let's say, 2 lines, and I feed off of those 2 lines. And then I just go from there. And it's kind of like poetry in a sense where you tend to, like for me, I tend to have the ending rhymes, like the last 2 words rhyme, like time and mind. You know what I mean? Like as an example.
Yeah.
And that's how I tend to write my music, just as like
with preparation.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. You don't like to leave too much up to her.
Yeah. Take the mic back. Yeah. No more audience talking.
Yeah, like leaving. I'm very similar with comedy in terms of like I have to be prepared before I go on stage and stuff. Like, and I've also had to learn how to add more of like a intuition part to it, though. Like, because especially with comedy, music, you can sound prepared, and that's kind of the goal. Like, you want it to sound like how you wrote it or practice it at home. But with comedy, it's like you have to make it sound conversational. Like, you have to make it sound like it was the first time saying it, even though you know like every single word. And so you can sound robotic sometimes.
Yeah,
I run into that issue a lot.
I've definitely noticed that. Since I do the open mics, I see people every week. I see sometimes the same sets every time.
Yeah,
and
it's word for word, and then also like emphasis for emphasis. Like, it's
I can understand, like, you want to like get the joke down, but I think there's definitely a beauty in like keeping that joke, but then changing a couple of the words, making it fresh for yourself every time.
Yeah, but it's also like I said, when it has to be an accident why something is funny. And then, like, sometimes people will even laugh just for, like, one night specifically. Yeah. Just because of, like, the venue or the time or whatever. So then, like, an accident happens where people laugh, and then it turns out that wasn't actually, like, funny. It was just an accident. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I feel you. Yeah, so, there was my set that I did at Villain. I got applause for one joke, and then I did it at Riverside, and, like, no one laughed. And I was like, I don't understand.
Yeah. You could do that, like, within 10 minutes of each other. Like, you could get off one stage with one audience, walk into the next, and it's like the joke is a completely different experience.
It's I think that's honestly really, really challenging. So, because music is, you can play it, and then it's pretty much sounds, as long as you sound the same, then it's going to sound the same. But
my writing technique, did we want to?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I thought my bad. Yeah, your writing technique. Tell me about that, my man.
It was very interesting because hearing it how you said it, like for me, sometimes a joke, it can come at different times in the joke. Like you were saying, like you might have words come and then a melody and chords after, whatever. Very similar in terms of like a joke might come in a premise. Like it might be a sentence that you're like, oh, there's something funny about that sentence. And then sometimes you might be at an act out. Like I have a Kermit joke, and like that joke is all based around I was just being a goof we were swimming in college, and I was just like pretending to be Kermit being cheated on. Like I don't know why, but just for like 5 minutes, I was just like, oh my God, Miss Piggy, just like going crazy about being cheated on. And I just like, we were just laughing so hard. So then I was like, how do I make a joke around that? And it's kind of weak because it is just like a joke based around an impression. So that joke I'm struggling with lately. But like either way, sometimes I get jokes at different points in the joke. Usually the act out is near the end. So like that joke, the Kermit joke, I got near the end. And then there was a joke I did last night that was like, it's a premise, it's an idea, but there's no forming yet. There's no punchline. There's like all these things that don't
So
fill
just, like,
in. So
throwing stuff at the wall to see what sticks. Kind of
yeah. You have to know which part of the process you're in. Like, be like, okay, that joke is a premise. How do I now create a punchline with a premise? You know, by adding a twist or by doing this and that.
Yeah.
And so,
That's cool though. I like that. I think that's definitely a challenging part with comedy. So, like I said, mad respect to all the comics out there who are doing their thing. It's not easy, and I am happy to know that I am not really like I'll say I'm occasionally funny, but like I think I'm funny enough to be a host, and like that's it. You know what I mean? Like I'll stick to my wheelhouse, which
being funny is really difficult.
I would definitely say that's quite difficult. Another question from Shady, actually, which again, guys, if you have any questions, send them down our way, whether that's for me or Blake or whatever it may be. Both kinds of questions. We take everything all on Instagram Live. But Shady asks, how does Blake deal with hecklers?
Someone said before, because Shady, you're getting all the shine here, all these questions. No, someone said it's a talent to be funny on purpose, though. That is like what comedy. It's when I started out comedy, I did this comedy festival, or it was a competition, like a comedy competition, and I won it. No, this was New Faces is just like people coming out to watch. This was in Boca when they used to have the old Funky Buddha robot before that closed down. It was like a Boca Comedy Festival or comedy contest. And I won, and it was just because like the stars aligned. Like it was just ended up being the perfect night where like this person brought these people and this, that, and then they voted, and I was just really funny on that night. And it was like, again, it was an accident. Like it was an accident that I was funny on that night, and it just went really well. And then as I've done comedy more, like it used to be, once in a blue moon, like it used to be a rare event that I would be really funny. And then the goal is to be like, okay, now it's not rare that I'm funny. Now I'm actually like kind of funny. And then then every time I have a good, so like just trying to be, the job is just trying to be funny on purpose. Like trying to make those stars align every single night. Like how does that happen? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think that definitely happens with more practice and with refining your set and changing things and trying things new. You know? I think that definitely speaks with music as well, and the fact that like you could write something out, but during your show, like, or during the performance, it's your live. So if you fuck up, like, it's part of it. And sometimes, you know, it might be a good fuck up. Sometimes it's a bad fuck up. So you miss like just the wrong fret, and then you just go into jazz. Like just follow it up. If you mess up, just say it's jazz. This is jazz.
Switch it up.
Yeah, you guys just don't understand. It's jazz.
yeah, exactly. I didn't mess up. I purposely didn't do it.
Your ears are wrong.
Yeah.
Hey, we got Erica.
That's good.
Joining
it's always
us.
good to blame the audience.
Yeah, just
if you're not funny, blame the audience.
Exactly. It's definitely, you know, as a server, I feel that I'm just always shifting the blame to someone else. I'm like, oh, your food didn't get here yet? Like, what? No way. Like I put that shit in like an hour ago. Like, it's the kitchen's fault. Like,
it's the easiest thing to blame others. You know, that's like the first line to go to.
Yeah, man. But let's see. Going back to that question, how do you deal with hecklers, man? How do you deal with hecklers? I've had recent experience with a comic who didn't handle it too well. I've had ones who handle it pretty well.
Shoot,
you know. So I'm curious. Everyone's different. How do you deal with that?
Well, I guess I also I haven't had too many hecklers like experiences. For me, like what I will run into is like people responding to a joke. And they're not like trying to heckle or something, but like sometimes I'll be performing, especially like on a big stage, like let's say at an improv, in the front row of people that are sitting there. Sometimes people will be like I'll say a joke and then they think it's like a conversation and they'll like talk back to me.
Yeah.
Kind of, but they're not like specifically talking to me. Like let's say I finish a joke and they'll be like, oh, that's weird. And I'm like, no one can hear it pretty much except for me and maybe the next person beside them.
Yeah.
So I can't like get mad at and yell at them because then the audience is gonna be like, "Why are you yelling at this person? Like, they didn't interrupt the show." And you're like, "Yeah, but they're interrupting me." And like you don't know. And that's more of like what I would run into is like just weird responses from the audience. And then I've learned to like if there is responses from the audience, you kind of have to learn how to roll with those sometimes too, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But you don't want to necessarily, like, when I was in Texas and I was doing this joke and I was talking about like smuggling candy into a movie theater.
Mm-hmm.
And this girl in the audience was like, yeah, you had a purse and whatever. And at the moment, I was just like, yeah, like I wasn't listening to what she was saying.
Mm.
And then afterwards, I was like, oh, I should have gone into that. Like, I should have been like, yeah, I got like 2 purses. And I'm like, I don't know, like, so having to like respond to the audience is something that you just kind of have to learn where to go in and where to go out.
Yeah.
But hecklers specifically, I don't really run into them. But if I would run into them, I would probably try to do some sort of like lawyer shit. Like try to break them down on a logical level.
Okay.
You know? That's more probably like who I am. You know?
Yeah, no, I get what you mean. And some people, like Erica's saying right now, ignore the haters. You know.
Yeah.
And that's definitely something that is sometimes that's the best move. Sometimes you want to point them out. I know there's a lot of comics who do like crowd work and stuff, and that's definitely like a lot of improv, if not all improv,
Yes and no. I mean, you can have like some prepared, like you have a question that you'll ask the audience that you kind of know the answer to.
Yeah.
So then you can roll into like a joke that's like, oh, you gave me this perfect setup that I've done at every city. Like there are some things that can kind of be prepared.
I could see that.
But like crowd work for some comedians is just a tool that you can use to go in and out of, hopefully, at certain times.
Audience engagement.
Yeah. And it's hard to, because it's like a real life tool that, like, the best case scenario is that you would go to a theater or even a club, no matter where you're doing comedy, you would want people to just essentially be completely silent and then just laugh or don't laugh. And like no talking, no other response. And that would be like the perfect situation. But, when people have drinks and stuff and then they
get rowdy.
And then they really enjoy the people. Like, it's usually out of love. Like, they'll yell stuff maybe sometimes out of hate. Like, they'll be like, my family did that or something.
I don't agree with what you said.
Yeah. And that's, I don't know, man. I'm not a controversial person, so I'm usually not, like, people aren't, like, heckling me necessarily, you know?
Like, Kermit Miss Piggy would never cheat on Kermit.
Yeah, and you'd be like, all right, dude. Like,
yeah, right.
You must love Sesame. Is that Sesame Street?
Yeah, that's okay. Sesame Street. Yeah,
I don't even know what because I didn't watch Sesame Street growing up, so I don't even. I thought Kermit was. Is that?
It's the Elmo family.
Is that the Muppets? What is the Muppets part of Sesame Street?
I want to say yes.
Yeah,
I want to say yes because.
It's
the same
IG
person.
Live.
Yeah,
Do
you know
they
what?
know?
Someone let us know in the IG is the Muppets and Sesame Street related. I'm pretty sure they are.
Okay, so the Muppets is their own thing.
He says it's the Muppets. Emmy says no.
Okay, so the Muppets are their own thing, and
Okay.
then Sesame Street is its own thing, right? That's what.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I guess so.
Because Sesame Street's like Big Bird, isn't it? Like Big Bird and Kermit don't hang out, right? Those are two different things. Are they? Or
I feel like they would hang out.
Or is that the
though.
same? Am I getting the Muppets wrong?
I think they're made by the same person, like the
Okay.
same person who makes those Muppet-looking animals, but maybe they're just different shows, kind of a thing.
Okay. They said the Muppets is its own thing.
Yeah, they keep saying we're all wrong. I guess.
Okay. That's what I thought. I thought it was something different, but like, I don't even know the. Because I also say like Bert and Ernie come in, and that could be from a different cartoon. Like, I don't know if Bert, Ernie, Miss Piggy, and Kermit are all from the same thing, but
Universe.
I think they are because no one has said anything.
Yeah. I think they easily could all have a lunch together on Sesame Street.
I'm sure they've done crossover episodes all the time.
Yeah, they had to have.
Sometimes they. Yeah, Madison said sometimes they do crossovers.
Okay, see, we're not far off base. Ellie said, by the way, if you ever need practice getting heckled, then
then
she'd be happy.
Let
to
me know.
do
I
that.
got you. Yeah.
Let's
Hey,
see.
thanks, Ellie. That's
right.
really nice of you to.
I think Jim Henson, that's his name. Yeah, see, that's the dude who makes all the characters, but they're different things. He's
Okay.
close.
I mean,
Jim
when
Henson.
you're a kid, you have no clue what's going on.
Nah.
Like you just love the stimulation of just like, oh, Elmo or like.
Yeah, Elmo was my shit when I was younger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think back to like being a kid, and I remember just being like Like it's like being like high all the time or like drunk all the time, you know?
Yeah, just so much energy.
Yeah, you just show up to things. You're like, okay, I'm just playing soccer now, or what? You know what I mean? Like your parents, they're like, we're gonna enroll you in, and you're
It's
like,
a lot
okay,
simpler.
yeah,
Yeah.
You just show up and you're just like, what's going on?
Yeah.
It's like it was like a crazy party. Like being a child was like a crazy party.
All the time.
Do you feel that way?
I feel like drunk people and young
babies.
children have a lot in common. You know, they're
Yeah.
just always rowdy, always excited. They tend to scream a lot, and then sometimes they shit themselves. You know, like.